Morning, church. I hope you're all well. I wanted to share some thoughts today that have come from a book that I've been reading, which I've really been enjoying and has given me lots of value. It's been doing the rounds recently. It's become quite popular. It's a book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. So I recommend going out and getting that. But it talks very much about the way that we live our lives. You know, we live in a modern time where the world around us and technology means that we can constantly be busy and hurried. And people normally answer when asked. I often do. When I'm asked, how are you? I say, oh, I'm good, I'm just busy. And sometimes I answer that as if it's a good thing, when actually most of the time it isn't good to be too busy. And it's not just CEOs, it's students, it's parents, children, single people, unemployed. Everyone's busy these days in different ways. And I'm not saying being busy is not healthy. You know, it can be healthy, where your life is full of things that matter. It's just when they're not full of things, you know, when it's wasted on empty leisure. I mean, Jesus, as an example, was busier and had more things to do than all of us, so it was good. Yet that didn't cause him to hurry. It's the behaviour that hurry causes, really. And so the problem is when you have too much to do and the only way to keep up is to hurry. And the book says that, you know, psychologists and mental health professionals lately are now talking about the epidemic of the modern world, and that they call it Horry Sickness, a behaviour pattern characterised by continual rushing and anxiousness, and in which are 10 different types of symptoms. A lot of these struck a chord with me, and I really wanted to make sure that I put this in here. The book goes through them in more detail, and I wanted to go through all of it, but I've shortened them for time, which is quite ironic, don't you think? The first, I'll go through them quickly, I'll try and go quickly. For irritability, you get mad, frustrated or annoyed way too easily, and people have to tiptoe around you, especially those closest to you. Number 2, hypersensitivity. All it takes is a minor comment or a direct email to set you off and ruin your day. Number 3, restlessness. When you actually try and slow down and rest, you can't relax. You have quiet time with God, but struggle to focus your mind. Your mind and body are hyped up on speed, the time, not the drug. And when you don't get the next speed fix, you shiver. Number 4, workaholism, or non-stop activity. It doesn't have to be work, actual career work. You don't know when to stop. Your drug of choice are accomplishment and accumulation. At the day's end, you have nothing left to give to your spouse or children. Number 5, emotional numbness. You struggle to feel others' pain. Empathy is a rare feeling for you. You just don't have the time for it. Number 6, out of order priorities. You feel disconnected from your identity and calling due to the urgent but non-important tasks that you fill your time with. Your life is reactive, not proactive. Number 7, lack of care for your body. You don't have time for the basics. 8 hours of sleep, daily exercise, healthy home cooking. You get sick many times a year. Number 8, escapist behaviors. We're too tired for what is life-giving for our souls, so we turn to our distraction. This is relevant for me. Overdrinking, but binge-watching Netflix, on his browsing social media, surfing the web. These things in themselves are not bad at all, but when we use them to escape reality, they eat us alive. Number 9, slippage of spiritual discipline. When you get busy, your quiet time with God, reading the Bible, prayer, Sabbath, or worship, they're the first to go rather than your go-to. And number 10, isolation. You feel disconnected from God, others, and your own soul. When you stop to pray, your mind can't settle, or when you're with your friends, you're a million miles away in your mind running the to-do list. So I don't mean to just be negative this morning, and I want to go through that as quickly as possible so I could get onto to how Jesus lived as a model for us. So that's the bad news. I wanted to give that a little time, and so what I'm trying to say is hurry and love are incompatible. Some of my worst moments as a human being are when I'm in a hurry or I'm late and I'm trying to cram too much into my day, and that my behaviour, because I'm trying to do that, isn't the best towards the people that are closest to me. The next time you're trying to get your wife, your husband or children or friends out of the house and you're running late, just pay attention to how you relate to them. Does it look and feel like love? That's sort of a good indicator. So in Paul's definition of love in the Bible, the first descriptor, the famous one that we all use at everyone's weddings, is love is patient. That's the first one, love is patient. That's the opposite of hurry, isn't it? And when we talk about our walk with God, we talk about walking with Him. We don't talk about running with God. And the same is true for joy and peace. They're incompatible with hurry. So if there's one thought that you take with you today, is to pick up the Bible and look at Jesus' life, look at the Gospels, and concentrate on how everything He did was the opposite of hurry and full of patience. We can easily justify all the things that we're busy with in our lives, but that doesn't necessarily mean, and I want to bring the challenge is that, are we giving them to the right things? And is our behaviour on the back of how busy we are having effect on the people around us, and just as importantly on us and our walk with God? So when Jesus heard that his friend Lazarus was sick, as an example, and I mean life and death sick, no, it wasn't just a cold, he stayed where he was for 2 more days. So he didn't do anything about it for 2 days. And then he said to his disciple, let's go back to Judea. So actually, that was something, he could have rushed and been reactive to it, but he trusted in his Father and, was present to the people around him. Or when Jesus was, and obviously Lazarus was healed, by the way, as a result. It wasn't that he just left him. Or when Jesus was teaching in a synagogue, when Jairus fell at his feet, begging him to come heal his little girl, who was at the point of death again. So, more serious than any of our reasons why we might hurry. But on the way home to the little girl, a woman with chronic health condition that went back 12 years interrupted Jesus, and he took all the time in the world with her. In the end, Jesus did make it to Jairus' daughter and healed her. But isn't it amazing how present Jesus is with everyone? Even in the face of life and death situation, it didn't rush him into the next moments. So as I said, you'll notice as you read the Gospel that Jesus is constantly interrupted all the time. Pharisees, people that want healing, people are against him. Yet he doesn't come across as annoyed or agitated. He gave time and was patient with everyone who wanted his attention. And the things that he had to delay, he didn't leave behind. He still gave attention to as well. And he didn't rush in his teaching either. He waited till he was over 30 before he did his first teaching. He didn't rush into his calling, which was a big calling, obviously. It changed everything. And immediately after that first teaching, he went away for 40 days to pray. And nothing could hurry this guy. So I just want to leave you with that and just recommend the book again, because it's really been great to read. And I think this is a great time that we're in at the moment for many of us to look at, before things start to go back to normal, to what we put our time to, and just encourage it. If we feel any of the symptoms that we went through before, that we can find our rest in reading, following, and being an apprentice to the way Jesus was patient in everything he did. Sorry it's a bit longer than 5 minutes, but I think that kind of proves the point well, that we shouldn't hurry too much as we should try and stick to, the things that we should. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Cheers.